Back to the Rainbow Six NAL Doa. Jacob, Jesse. I usually go Jesse first. We'll go Jacob first. Jacob, Jesse here on the desk, and we are getting ready for Soniqs versus Beastcoast. And this is going to be a bit of a wild one, right? Because it's going to be, you know, and we'll get into it for a moment, right? Maybe we need to do a little bit of recapping first, but I'm excited about this one either way because Soniqs still hunting for a win. Beastcoast, of course, like you never quite know what they're going to bring. It's looked good at times. It's looked a little bit rough at times, but it's always been entertaining.
Yeah, Beastcoast, a brand new roster, of course, coming into the NAL this year, and a lot of people thought they might start slow because of that. They actually started with a big win over Parabellum at the very first week. Then they followed that up with an unfortunate but very close 8-7 loss to Dark Zero, and then just yesterday, probably their worst performance so far, a 7-2 loss. Now that was against Oxygen, who are destroying everybody right now, so take it with a grain of salt. But certainly I think the Beastcoast have had a better start than anticipated. Now, that doesn't mean it's been amazing. They've still got 2 losses on the scoreboard so far, but I think they can be proud of and happy with where they're at right now.
Yeah, well, speaking of where we're at right now, as a day, you can see the scores along the bottom of your screen. Space Station Gaming took down TSM, and it was a 1-7 loss for Parabellum versus Xset. Xset just kind of speed running their matches this week, apparently. And then we just saw the overtime win for Astralis against Dark Zero. You know, any big surprises today? I feel like that's a little bit redundant. I mean, with Xset doing what they're doing, but maybe this is just a new normal.
You could say surprises are redundant just because it's the NAL.
It is the NAL.
But no, I mean, obviously, that one's a big shocker. I think the fact that we're still seeing TSM in this hole, that's concerning for TSM fans who, whether you came from the World Championship bandwagon or not, we're still looking at a team that has not been able to find any real success in stage 1 of really any stage in the NAL. Going back to 2020, it always felt like there was some disconnect as soon as the season began, and that trend just continues. Nah, but for me, it's definitely Xset only losing 1 round over 14 of them and got 2 over this week. That's still pretty crazy to me.
That is incredible. It is incredible. And another, speaking of incredible things, in sort of like a reverse way, it's incredible that Soniqs are coming into this series against Beastcoast 0-3. I mean, again, this is the team that won NAL last year. They had a pretty good run at SI, and now here we are, 0-3. And not only is it 0-3, it's not like they lost close series against good teams or anything like that. They look lifeless, as it were. They look lifeless, they look desperate at times, they look confused at other times. It's just, it's been a train wreck, basically, for Soniqs. And like, how do you right it? You know, how do you fix this?
I think there's going to need to be a lot, to be honest, to fix this Soniqs right now. They look really lost.
Like if we had to make a list, go like one by one. What do we got?
So I think the first thing that we noticed back in week 1 was their pacing, right? First we saw that like they were able to go on attack way too slow against Skyscraper on this new map. They just couldn't seem to figure it out. Players were all in the wrong positions. Their attacks weren't working well. Then they tried to mix it up by going for a bunch of rushes against Parabellum. That didn't work either. The pacing still felt really off, and they were just trying these strategies that didn't really find a whole lot. And then just yesterday on defense, Jacob, it felt like they weren't able to gun at all. Not a single gunfight throughout that game looked good.
They're going to want so much of yesterday back. That's like 4 different things lined up in their favor. The expectations of them as a team, the understanding that it was Oregon, that they were a good Oregon team, that they were on defense first. It seemed like the stars were aligning for the Soniqs. And what did they do? Literally nothing. Not the expectation that we have for a team that was this high at SI. Now, we're going to beat that point to death a lot, but Beastcoast for their own, like we're looking at this and we can kind of compare Beastcoast to the other teams that the Soniqs have faced thus far. We're looking at the whole Parabellum now find themselves in, we're looking at how Xset played, and we can kind of get a little bit of a gauge on how good Beastcoast is compared to the rest of the field. And based on the teams that Soniqs themselves have faced, I still think Beastcoast are going to win this one, and there's no reason to expect the Soniqs to do anything until they start winning.
Right, and the Soniqs are over there getting ready, right, for their match and everything, and you kind of wonder what that's like, right? Because coming into this one 0-3, it can't feel good. This is one of those times where you really need to have that sort of like mental fortitude. You need to have somebody on your team to get everybody cheered up, to get everybody hyped up for the series, not in like a we're going to win for sure kind of way, because after those results, you can't tell yourself that, right? You have to say, we're just going to play the best game we can, and we're just going to see what results we're going to get, and we're going to build from there, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, I've never teamed with Super, but as a team captain, that would probably be his role, hype up the squad. I don't know that he speaks to me as a super positive, let's go guys, everything's going to be okay type of leader. I could be wrong. So far in the last 24 hours, he's sent 4 angry tweet replies against both me and Cookies, and they've also won 4 rounds. throughout the NAL so far. So if the stat line continues,
stat.
we'll get more tweets as more rounds come through for the Soniqs, and I'm hoping so. But this is what we're talking about when it comes to the mentality of the Soniqs, right? Sometimes it does feel like maybe there is some pressure on this roster. They've been together for a long time, and I think they've achieved a lot for what they've got so far. But it does feel like right now, being in this slump, it's going to be hard to break out of.
Dude, they came into the season with pressure on their shoulders and expectations through the roof that I don't know if they're going to be able to follow up because of that SI result and how well they did last year. So they came in already understanding, well, we probably need to exceed what we did last year, and they failed to do that. Now, in the short term, the pressure is also on them because they come in only 4 rounds won, 0 points at this point in week 2 of this stage. And they have teams who already have in the realm of like 6 to 8 points that they're going to have to contend with, or they're going to miss the major. They don't want that. They want this trend to continue. They were the only North American team to go to every event last year, barring SI, from 2021. So if they can't pick things up here, their chances to actually get to the next major slip through their fingers so fast. If they keep losing, we could be saying by next week that they're already, maybe not mathematically eliminated, but the chances of them going continue to lessen to a point where they can't dig themselves back out.
Rainbow Six is typically thought to be slightly defender-sided as a game, but the Soniqs currently sit with an 8% defensive win rate.
Holy
They got 7-0'd on Oregon yesterday, a map with a defense win rate over 55%. They've won a single round all year on defense, and it was round 9 versus Parabellum, where Rexon had this top floor roam and he slammed some Canadians on some window repels. And unfortunately, that's kind of the last time that Rexon looked like he was able to do anything on defense. He went 1-7 through the whole game yesterday, finished with a rating of 0.2 the other day. The other player that we have to focus on when we're looking at the stats is unfortunately Super, and he's always kind of been at the bottom. It is his role. We don't expect him to be the fragging.
Under 10 kills, dear God.
He's the only player in the league under 10 kills still.
Only player in the league with less than 10 kills. He's the lowest rated player as well overall, 0.53, and his deaths. 24 deaths puts him at a survival rate of just 4%. That's unheard of. He's survived once. There's been a single round that he's actually lived through. They've only played 25. So it's been rough for him. We saw yesterday that the Soniqs kind of moved his role around a little bit. They put him on this like Mozzie roam on their Oregon dorms defenses.
Which is so stupid. I do not trust him in that position in the slightest.
It makes no sense, and it really is frustrating because it's like Rexon's not having the greatest time, right? The team can't find these kills on the roam. So how is it so desperate that like you're trying to get Super now involved in the roam game, and it's just not working out for you? This isn't the plan. This isn't the Soniqs that we know. Why are they going to all these extremes, changing things up? It's clearly not working, and I hope they can figure things out today.
Well, I mean, a big part of it is the man on your screen right there, right? Obviously, Super, if you wonder why they're making these decisions, he's the one who said, I'm the coach of this team. We've got Goddess there playing the head coach role, right? She's doing a lot of help with the management. She's doing things like making sure the practice schedules are going great. Talk about the mental fortitude. Obviously, she's going to contribute in that category as well. But when it comes to strategy, I feel like Super's been very clear that that's his department, right? So when you talk about those changes, you'd assume they're coming from him. And so, it seems like he has the confidence to kind of make that thing work. And there's no doubt that changes need to be made in some sort of way. So at least they're trying things,
Yeah, and I mean, I get it if Super is like confident in his roam play, he wants to try it out. I mean, it is just one game of the stage. We'll see if it continues. And he is still the crisp young age of, 18? So it's nice to have
19, I'm pretty sure what it likes to say.
19, my bad. But still, it does feel like maybe they need to change some things up on that front, on where they're putting the roamers on defense and who's out there. That said, I do still want to go back to the Rexon point of view as well, because what we're seeing is just like their primary fragger, the team that has always relied on 1, 2, 3 guys getting all those kills. If they're suddenly not getting those kills, well, that's a huge problem for Soniqs.
Yeah, Soniqs warming up still. We'll see if it's going to be enough to take the win today. Meanwhile, on the other side of the arena, you can see him way, way over there. It's going to be Beastcoast. Of course, this is a team that has had their ups and downs this stage already, but it's an exciting roster. It's a controversial roster in some ways, but no doubt they do bring the aggression. They do really like to put teams on their heels as fast as they possibly can, and whether it works or not, each map is a different story, but no doubt it is fun to watch.
Yeah, the only problem was that game against Oxygen was the worst defeat they've had thus far as a squad. Both of the other games that they've played, one was a win, one was a loss. Both of them were very close. This time they had a 7-2 deficit against OXG, making a couple very discernible mistakes. Great gunners, they've got fantastic game sense. When they roam, they're usually doing some sort of disruption, even if it's not finding a frag. But the problem is, for me, is their attacks. They have a tendency to not like forget the roam is there, but when they try to execute, they're not following through with all of the steps. They're saying, we'll make a site hit, we'll do what we can, we won't worry about all the other different avenues of approach that the defense has back. We'll try to see if we can't defend against a retake, and instead, they'll try and they'll fail a pretty good amount of the time. Like, it feels as though when you're trying to go for a quick site hit, that's a nice idea in theory, but it feels as though they rely on that a little bit too much without going through the rest of the checklist.
And Jacob, when we check the numbers, you're right on the money. They've got the second worst attacking stat in the entire league right now, 35%. The upside, though, is that the team across from them is the only team that's below them. 23% for Soniqs attack, so we're likely to see a pretty defender-sided game, depending on what map we end up on.
Watch us go to like Chalet or Border or something. Like,
who knows what can happen.
Force teams to attack it.
Yeah, it could get kind of messy, but still, I do feel like that's definitely a fair criticism for Beastcoast. For me, Anthony was kind of a problem last time against OXG. The flank watch was just not something that was really giving them a whole lot of props. Fox was getting used to those backlines time and time again, and Vertical as well had a ridiculous game against them. Is it all on Anthony to shut down all of that? Probably not. Should he have been doing a little bit more? Yeah, maybe he could have, and that might have been able to get Beastcoast a few more rounds.
So I guess the big question here too then is Beastcoast style, does that play theoretically well into what Soniqs is trying to bring? Like maybe Soniqs, would have the ability to clamp down, control a little bit of the Beastcoast aggression if it is a little bit sloppy, if it is a little bit scrappy. But again, this all kind of hinges on Soniqs being able to execute their game plan, something that they haven't been able to do yet.
True.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm worried that if Soniqs are stalling, as we saw them do way back in week 1, maybe we're going to end up in a situation where they're just outside the bomb site, they're not really doing a whole lot, and then Sweater can just be like, hello, and just boo,
maybe
right into their sidelines. So that could be a situation. That said, slow and steady sometimes does win the race, and when you're going against mega aggressive roamers, as long as you're focusing them and not ignoring them, you can maybe catch them off guard sometimes.
True.
Well, let's find out what map it's going to be. It's time to see the bans and kind of deduce where we're going to be heading here. Not Villa.
Well, we've
other choices to go, though.
We've seen Oregon twice today. I just don't want to see another Oregon between these two squads, and I don't think we'll get one, given what Beastcoast played yesterday and got kind of slammed on it. So we'll see if they want to ban it here. These two squads banning out Villa, Club, and Border. I think these are making pretty much sense so far. Soniqs have a pretty large losing streak on Villa right now. They tried it a lot at SI, but they
still
weren't
weird
able
that
to
Soniqs
find a
wait
whole
so
lot.
long to ban Cafe these days. I don't know why. Wait, are they letting Cafe through?
Cafe is their perma-ban. This team has never played it. They get another ban, don't forget, Jacob.
No, it's true. It's just really, really close.
Beastcoast ban it.
Beastcoast
ban it? Maybe a little scared of it. Of course, this is a new roster, so we don't know a whole much about how they are on this, but we'll see. Skyscraper also getting taken off of the board. We've actually left Oregon to the last couple here, Jacob. What's it with?
I'm trying to figure out what the last one is here, yeah.
Border, Chalet,
Bank.
Bank is the last one, yep.
Yeah. I don't really know if they're Soniqs are very confident in their bank play either. Nah.
We're going back to Oregon. All right. We're spending a day on the northwest coast today, apparently.
We spent the first week without going to Oregon, and now they're just like, hey, we're going to drill it into your brain.
Happy Oregon week, everybody.
It looks like the
Oregon
NAL
Day.
is taking cues from NACL, only going to the same couple of maps every day.
I mean, this is exceptionally surprising for these two squads because literally yesterday, Soniqs got 7-0'd on Oregon and Beastcoast got 7-2'd. And both squads are like, nah, that was a fluke. We're actually really good at this map.
Oregon redemption, I guess. It makes me want to go home and watch some Portlandia
For
later.
one of them, for the other, it's going to be a tale of why the hell did you let the ban slip this bad?
I mean, who knows? I'd love to get the opinions of our casters here as we move into predictions. Let's find out what Blue and Stokes have to say going into this one. Do you dare pick Soniqs? That's the thing. Can anyone, in good faith, pick Soniqs to win at this point until they've already won a map?
Well, do you want that one? I can do it.
That's a tough question.
I'm feeling here's the thing, right? I'm throwing stats out the window. I'm throwing all logic for the most part out the window here too. There's one reason why I'm picking the Soniqs for this matchup.
There's no way.
Super is not going to tolerate a loss to Drip. So for that one single reason, the Soniqs will win this match. Oh,
Bold.
man.
It's a bold move.
We'll see how it goes.
Sam, can you say anything in his defense, or are you going the other way?
I seldom defend John.
You don't
in
have
first
to.
place,
I'm
so, I mean,
going to bail you out. You don't have to. I can deal with this.
he's his own man. You know, he can do what he wants, and that's exactly why I'm going with the drip or drown. We're going with Beast Coast, baby, all the way.
All right, 1-1. I mean, blue being bold over there. You know, Stokes playing a little bit more to the numbers, perhaps. But what
You
does
wouldn't have
the
said that 2 weeks ago. Don't say that to me now. You wouldn't have said that about Beast Coast 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, true. But here we are.
Yeah, fair enough, I guess.
we are.
I feel like neither of these squads did well in Oregon, last time that they were here.
No.
But at least there were a couple of rounds from Beast Coast. If Soniqs are going to win any of these early games, it's probably the one to do it, just because I think Beast Coast, having just fallen on Oregon, there is potential there if we see the team popping off, but not from my pick, not from my predictions. I think we're going to slide in with Beast Coast and sit up there with Sam.
It might not be the most analytical take in the world, but look at both of their previous opponents on Oregon. We saw XSET go against the Soniqs and win, and we were like, well, that's kind of weird because XSET haven't won before. And Beast Coast lost to OXG, but it feels like everyone's losing to OXG.
Yeah.
So if only because they also got 2 rounds against OXG as opposed to just laying down and completely just flopping like a fish, which I want to stop making fun of you, Soniqs. I really do. I'm going with Beast Coast in this game.
All right, 3 Beast Coast and 1 lone Soniqs, or will there be a second? Let's find out. It's going to be heads, Soniqs, tails, Beast Coast.
Please be whatever Sam picked so he can tank his prediction even harder.
Oh, it's tails. It's Beast Coast. The coin.
Right.
No faith in Soniqs, apparently. What can you do? Like I said, it's
He
hard
just
to
slammed
pick
the
them.
table in frustration over there.
Not happy.
It's just an inanimate object, Blue. Come on.
We're back on. Guys, I'm tied with this stupid thing. Do you see? I'm not going to be able to get away from this. It's just not going to happen.
Are you gonna,
You have no idea how hard I'm trying to beat this coin.
I'm expecting you to pull out a red card or something like that and send it off the field. You know, that's,
Seriously, yeah.
Bob.
I'm tied with an inanimate object for the best score in the league. Like what's happening here?
well, I mean, it's entertainment. Entertainment. That's what's happening at the end of the day. Yep.
See, I would be over here being like, you know what? It sucks that I'm losing to a coin, but at the same time, I'm not only at 50% so far, but I'm still losing to a freaking coin. That's the real kicker for me.
Them's the breaks, as they say. Let's check out our viewer poll here to see what you have to mull over before we go into this one. Who's the greatest villain?
I figured that
of the
was
Rainbow
coming.
Six North American League, Super or Drip? There you go. Pick your villain. I'm not gonna ask you guys. I think I know which way you're going.
Nah.
We don't need to flip a coin on that one.
It's weird because we just had Batman last game, and now
Right.
we have 2 villains going against one
That's
another,
true.
and I don't really know who fits what stereotype.
We're just building a whole Rainbow Six NAL cinematic universe here, basically. you
I like
know?
that.
Yeah.
I'm
There you
down.
go. It's going to be tons of fun. Well, don't go anywhere. When we come back, it is going to be the game we've all been looking forward to. Soniqs versus Beast Coast. I tried to say it with a straight face. It's going to be entertaining, though. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on NAL. See you in a few.
Talking like you got it, that's a problem, I might let them know. Treat you like a mouse or something, I let it go. Yeah, know I'm sturdy like a milli rocket. Skin clear, still look young, Andy Miller knockers. Money in my pocket. Don't call me a money pocket. Engine get to rocket. It sound like a thunder rocket. Yeah, I still love my baby even when it's toxic. Crazy like she Britney, but no, she don't shade a knock. No, Russell Wilson way I get low and stay in the pocket. I get paid and do my dance like a touchdown. Yeah, I can't do no time, don't leave that gun around. In my teens, we were acting up and running around. Now we're grown, still get to it if it's necessary. On the ground from January to January. Never met nobody who retired when they were young. So I guess I gotta get it to the cemetery. Getting paid just for rapping is fun.
I'm Anthony.
I'm Drip.
My name is Slash.
Hey, my name is Surf. Hey guys, I'm Sweater and I play entry for Beastcoast.
And I'm the IGL for Beastcoast.
Entry for Beastcoast.
Support player for Beastcoast.
And I'm the flex player for Beastcoast.
I'm Mark. I'm the coach for Beastcoast. I've been coaching for about a year now, and this is the first season that we've been really able to make like big changes.
After the recent scrims for SI quals, we knew we needed a big change. The coaches and the org decided to get rid of everyone except me.
From stage 3, I just went back to school, grinding school, but I knew deep down I was watching Pro League games and I was like, a lot of these players are frauds. I gotta take their jobs. Come around the invite quals, I made a pickup team. I knew that I myself could probably single-handedly pull a win or two against some of the pro teams, and I pulled about 5 or 6 out. And I was the Grim Reaper of some of these players' jobs. And after that tournament, there was about nine roster spots open, and I take credit for that because they lost to me.
I ended up on Beastcoast mostly because I knew a lot of the staff. It was like a system of staff that I trusted. I knew everyone on the team, so it was like natural for me to go towards the people I knew.
I got a tryout for Honor Esports Challenger League team, and they go, okay, well, we wanted this person. They ended up going to a different team, and then we asked this person. They joined, and then basically said that they didn't want to play the game anymore. So then I got the spot, so I was kind of third option. We ended up not making playoffs again. 2 months after Rams messages me, he asked me to try out. I ended up getting the spot on Beastcoast.
I've been playing for about 5 years now, and around the time of last year, I won Challenger League finals with the rent-free roster, made Pro League, which I was going to be under XSET for, but I ended up getting my year ban. Foolishly, I cheated on another game. I was served a year ban. I gave them all my moss and everything. Everything was clean because obviously I wasn't cheating on Siege. And yeah, I've been back for a couple months now.
I mean, the upgrade is clear. The last team sucked. They held a player of my caliber back, which is unbelievable. They should be embarrassed for themselves just keeping me down like that. I consider myself a player of high caliber and, high intelligence, and I don't like to be disrespected. And come stage 2, I was disrespected with who I was put on that team with when I requested to not play with some players. Things took their course, and it is what it is. I knew I'd make it back, and I knew they wouldn't, and that's why I'm here, and they're watching from home. So, what's up, guys?
I think it'll be easy transition because the team already feels a lot better. It feels like people actually want to win. People kind of were pretending to put in work last year.
I definitely feel like there's some pressure to prove that, completely restructuring the roster was a good idea. It's kind of a radical approach to pretty much replace the whole team. I'm looking to prove that, it was worth it for them to do it as opposed to keep grinding out with the old roster.
I think we can get top 4 by the end of the year. I think we might start off middle. We're definitely not going to be like an 8th, 9th place team like last year's team.
This team is, miles better than my last one in terms of just how we talk to each other and things simple as that.
I think people have a misconception about us that we're not going to be refined or I feel like we've already gone through a lot of that refinement process that those other teams haven't. So I think people may not think we're going to be as, organized and good as we are.
I think anything could really happen. I do think my team will play to the best that they can, and I guess we really won't know until I'm not going to say we're going to go into the game and just destroy them, because at the end of the day really anything can happen.
I have a fair amount of haters, but I have just as many supporters, and I'm not here to prove the haters wrong. I don't care about them. They're nothing to me. I'm here to prove the supporters right. So however you interpret me, I don't care.
Well, with that definitive statement from Drip and the rest of Beastcoast, we come back to you, ladies and gentlemen, to get ready to dive headfirst into their game today versus the Soniqs. And it's bound to be quite an interesting one. Even just down to the map we go to, both these teams having pretty lackluster results on the map, even as of this week, even just as of yesterday, in terms of the Soniqs. And now we're going to have to see which team can rebound better and take the victory in what's sure to be a bit of a grudge match between both of our villains here in the scene.
Yeah, absolutely. Two of the most polarizing characters in all of Rainbow Six Siege pitted against each other inside of the NAL. It's bound to be a good time. And speaking of one of them, well, there he is, Drip himself with the LA hat on, although they're all the way in Vegas, and I'm sure that they are ready to get into this match.
Got that flip-flop a little bit, but no matter, as he'll be just as ready to jump into this matchup, ladies and gentlemen, here. And there's quite a bit building up behind this one. Like the analyst has really talked to death about, it's been kind of a status of improvement for the Soniqs. We haven't really seen a whole lot from them here, and as we saw from the predictions, and even though I gave out some fun with my prediction on the Soniqs here, Beastcoast, it does really look like that they have everything working into their favor going into this matchup. But like I said, there is a lot of talk coming out from the Beastcoast camp, and Super would love to shut them up. So let's see if they can do it as we go live into Oregon now for our second to last match of the day.
It's a statement game for both of these teams. Even more so, you could say, for the Soniqs, as they have not been able to bear fruit this entire stage. But it could all change up here on Oregon and all change up against Beastcoast. The ban phase starts now, and what does Soniqs want to try and pull away from the offense?
Take a look at that and see what exactly they are going to remove. And seeing that first one come out now, it is going to be a choice of Hibana to be knocked out first here by the Soniqs, just limiting the hard breach potential. Hibana, of course, becoming incredibly useful in more ways than just her capability to hard breach as well, due to the fact that you can now choose the number of pellets. She can become quite bothersome at times for trying to drain utility like Aruna Gates and whatnot, so oftentimes we'll see her get banned out.
Yes, indeed. And now for the next ban, Beastcoast is going to be taking away Flores, a fantastic utility clear operator, and do not want to be dealing with that later on when they're on their defensive side. And speaking of the defense, the defensive ban's rolling in now. And the first one is going to be Mira, pretty spot on for what we usually see here on Oregon.
Away from that, one final ban remains, and it's the defensive choice from the Soniqs. We'll see what they choose to knock out. It looks like we got a whole lot of surprises here, and that's going to remain the case as we get Valkyrie knocked out once again here. She still proves herself to be far too useful in far too many situations, just universally on this map, so we'll knock her out. As you guys, if any of you watched SI, you will have seen that be the case for, I think, like 90+% of games we had her getting knocked out. So.
An insane amount, and also ended up pulling her into the waiting arms of Ubisoft, who nerfed her promptly. After a very, very, very long time and a lot of talking back and forth between the community, they finally took away the ability for her cameras to be outside. They can be outside for about 10 seconds, and then they just turn off. So you only have, like, a couple of moments to gather some insight, and then once that's gone, well, so is your camera. So still a fantastic op, though. Any extra cams around are always going to be amazing for the defense, so they can get some extra info. So still going to have her removed by the Soniqs. And speaking of them, they're going to be starting things off on the defensive end. If you guys are not looking over at your screen right now, they're going to be headed downstairs here, and this is looking pretty straightforward with their basement defense.
Did have an interesting initial pick coming in there from Anthony, but I did want to wait to see as the round got started if we were going to stick with it or not. The Glass initially being locked in from Anthony, but it has been picked away from that as he's going to go for the repick over towards the Thatcher instead, and we'll see a Zero come in for Slash as well. Interesting to see Zero here. Definitely an operator we've been seeing on quite a few other maps, but not so much on Oregon, but still can be used quite a bit to get those cameras in great positions to give some intel over to the side of Beastcoast.
Well, early days in the round as Beastcoast is now out and about. They'll begin their clear from the west side, clearing across, soon to be in Yeti's territory. We'll see if he wants to stick around the security area. I don't believe that the hatch is open, so more than likely going to be playing his life around this space instead. Actually, ends up just getting back down towards site. I thought he was around that kitchen area there initially, but instead down low, as is the rest of the Soniqs. It's going to be a turtle setup here. No extended hold for them.
Surf, of course, will start the top-down opening just to make sure there's not going to be any shenanigans being thrown out by the Soniqs, mainly towards the laundry stairs, and similar things will be deployed over towards the freezer stairs area as well. We can already see one member of Beastcoast clearing out the top side of that. Sweater will be the one to do so, just making sure, once again, there we go, the same top-down angle as we saw before over on the laundry stairs getting opened up, just so they can establish a bit of overwatch again for any more aggressive swings we get from Yeti or anyone in the area while they work on opening up the hatches and setting up the rest of their descent play here for Beastcoast. So going to be a pretty uneventful minute or two into this round, as unfortunately Soniqs have played into the default itself. So for you guys at home, that means you're not really going to get a whole lot of action out of this first 2 minutes.
Yeah, and that's usually how Oregon ends up going. You really don't see too many action-packed moments inside of the opening minutes, and we're going to have it yet again here in round one. Drip's already gotten the initial hatches open. It's going to be up to Slash to get the last hatch open here, and that's exactly what he'll get to doing inside of meeting, as he'll pop that E-box hatch open. And we'll continue on through the round. I mean, as of right now for Beastcoast, they're sitting pretty. They got a great drone economy in the moment. Yes, it's actually dwindled a little bit since the last time I saw it, but still have drones all the same that they can utilize to try and find some extra info on the positioning of the Soniqs in the moment. No Mute and or Mozzie in play either, so all these drones will be able to run amok. Slash will more than likely add some cameras to this equation as well. Beastcoast begin to clamber down into Freezer and see if they can have any effect over Sonic setup.
Going to see Slash, see if he can sneak in some of these Argus camps to give them a little bit more intel to play off of as well, but things are going to get very tense very quickly, so might not have a whole lot of time to play into those cameras. There's a swing from Grixer, very, very little by little here, whittling down the HP of Slash and finally knocking him out as Yeti gets another kill. Slash actually won't be confirmed, though, as Sweater trades onto Grixer before he can be fully knocked out, so he'll even get revived, brought back up, obviously at low HP, but still in the fight, as we're now evened out into a 4v4. Time's getting low, though, and with only 25 seconds left, Sweater picks up the next kill here for Beast Coast as they open up the floodgates just a little bit more. Yeti, though, in the corner. He could be the difference maker now for the Sonics. Are they going to be aware of his position? That's the question. No, they are not. He's going to get away with the first kill. Rexon will get 2 more on top of it to give Sonics back the advantage. And now it falls to Drip. A lot of talk, but he's got to back it up now. Can he do it? The spray is there, but it's messy, but he gets the job done as Beast Coast just barely squeak out the first round.
That was my inner soul just like screeching right there.
Look at him, man. He's popping off, too.
Expecting that. What the hell just happened? I mean, he somehow wins this engagement, even though I'll let you know when my brain like fried. So when Drip ran through the freezer hallway and then Rexon just seemingly was unaware that he was going to challenge him, that's when my brain just went full tilt. I had no idea how that was going to break down, but I don't know what to say for the Sonics. I mean, that's just so unfortunate.
Wasn't it Bolo yesterday that just like randomly sprayed a wall with his mouse like crazy and got a kill from it, or someone on TSM? Someone mentioned this to me yesterday. I didn't see it. I feel like Drip just kind of took a page out of that book there and tried to clutch it out with that. It just happened to work.
I mean, shout out Aim Labs, because did you see that tracking? Like, that was insane. Either way, though, I mean, Beast Coast are at least going to be able to grasp a hold of the round, because it was looking very dire there for a moment. I honestly, for all intents and purposes, think that is Rexon's round to lose, and fortunately enough for him, that's exactly what happened. And like you were talking about last time, pretty interesting pick here, John. If you guys didn't know, at 3 seconds, these ops lock in. So at 3 seconds left, we know what they're going with, and Slash is going with this glass.
Yeah, we had a soft pick on the last round, but he never fully committed to it. So now going to bring it into the fold this time. Very curious to see how this works out. Obviously, he'll have the smokes to kind of bolster himself, but no additional smokes alongside of that. So not building into that piece of utility too heavily. The rest of the team is still playing into this one pretty much as you would expect, looking at their last assault as well. So pay close attention to how Slash might be able to contribute as we get later into the round. Could establish a good cross with those smokes from Freezer's side. Laundry is an option too. There's a couple ways he could play this, so we'll pay close attention to him as Beast Coast get closer to the execute. Once again, though, Soniqs is playing into a kind of default bunker setup, so this first minute or two is going to be the same as the last round. Not a whole lot going on here.
Okay. So, Beast Coast, this is looking exactly like what we saw in the previous round. Drip's going to drone things out. We might have Yeti go for an early contention here. Personally, would not really like to see that. Much rather have him play his time and add discs to Freezer and make things a little bit more difficult for Beast Coast to actually get into. And then that's exactly what's going to happen here for Soniqs, as well as Beast Coast. They're actually going to back off of the Freezer hold as of right now and see if they can possibly get some more info around this area while the hard breachers start getting these hatches open. Now, a big thing to notate here is that they don't have nearly as much hard breach as they had the last time because they don't have 0 in, so they won't have the secondary hard breach. So that means that Drip is going to have to choose a different hatch rather than the lobby hatch. E-Box, arguably more important just based off of its positioning. I mean, it gives you access to so many different facets of the defensive detail, especially around the pillar area.
Speaking of that pillar position, Rexon going to continue to wait down the time for any potential pressure to broil in from Beast Coast. Not looking like that'll happen anytime soon, though, so Rexon could become a very important support player in the late portions of this fight if we see Beast Coast executing primarily through Freezer as well as the Laundry push as we saw in the previous round. Trying to get these EMPs to work from a top-down perspective. It's really only going to catch the ones on the wall, though. You can still see that ADS sitting on the floor. Freezer is well primed and ready to eat up the next nade that comes its way, so not a lot of success there in the utility usage from Beast Coast, but like I said before, he's going to catch a couple of those magnets. Unfortunately, not a whole lot to follow it up, so really not a lot being gained from Beast Coast except for maybe a little bit of intel as their drones were possibly allowed to sneak past a few jammers, but away from that, Beast Coast here still just biding their time, and unfortunately not biding it well enough. Yeti will be able to find the first kill of the round yet again. Here come the smokes, though, and here's where his Slash is going to come into big play, as he'll have to be able to establish these crosses here, punish anybody that tries to peek from the window, but he's not able to line up the shots too well so far. It's going to be Surf that gets the first response here for Beast Coast, and Drip just barely sneaking off this planet, looks like. Hero getting onto the ground, but look at how low his HP is. He's going to be able to hold his own, though, regardless of that, and Surf has his cutoff only for that first pickup, though. He immediately goes down due to the Freezer push from Kansan, and that leaves Slash on his lonesome, but look at his angle, way in the back of Freezer, and he's got this long scope to fight each and every one of these members of the Soniqs. Probably going to see someone from the Soniqs get super back up, and there we go. He's been revived, so where's the retake? Where's it going to come from now? As Slash actually reascends, he's going to rotate over towards Freezer's side and try to make a play there. Kansan, of course, will get the tap on a Surf to finish him off, and now Slash drops back down. He's got the cutoff for 2 of them, and both get knocked out. That's it. There's no time left for the counter defuse. Even if he goes down, the round is going into Beast Coast's hands. Beautiful job by Slash as he clutches it out for a 2-0 lead for Beast Coast.
game-changing plays being made by Slashug in the moment. The rotation through the top floor. You'd think just for a split second there, they would have had the possibility of having some audio as he runs through that main space, but no one seemingly aware that he was going for this. Nobody covering the drop inside of security either. They thought that he was still inside of laundry, but obviously it was all for naught. Way too many eyes trained on one location, and he punishes them immediately for this. Beastcoast up 2 rounds very quickly.
Beastcoast, a definitive statement being made here inside of the first 2 rounds of play. And the Soniqs, once again, like so many matches we've already seen them play here in this stage, very little to respond to it in those final seconds of the round. They bring it close. They make it a very, very tough fight for Beastcoast, but they fail to clutch it out as Beastcoast get away with 2 rounds here the Soniqs should have been able to take for themselves. And only after those 2 rounds do we finally see them make the decision to change their sight and head upstairs for the kids' hold.
And this is really where you have to start considering the mental of what Soniqs are going through in the current moment. I mean, especially given the last 4 Playdays that we've witnessed, and now Soniqs in hot water yet again here, especially with 2 rounds, like you were saying, John, they should have totally have taken, but unfortunately enough for them, they just don't have it in the cards, and now they sit down 2-0. The headspace probably not looking too hot at the moment as they try and grasp at straws and bring themselves back into this. It seems like the shift to the top floor might be the call here, as that is the next defensive round. We'll be holding things down on dorms, and their application to the site looking fairly straightforward, as did their basement setup.
So, again, you can see the confidence from the Soniqs hasn't really been in the best place either. You're talking about the mental of some of these players. We had the tweet yesterday from Kansan where he said, I don't even know what to say after the 7-0. We're just getting folded. That's an exact quote from his Twitter account. So things are looking rough right now in the Soniqs camp. And with these first 2 rounds having been played out, unfortunately, today is not looking like an immediate improvement just yet. But these are very, very small issues that are running into the Soniqs here at the very end of the round. Very easily correctable. But it still needs to happen here, and so far we haven't seen that just yet as Beastcoast continue to open up these POVs for themselves, mainly from the bedroom walk-in. As you can see already, that wall's been opened up. Not a whole lot going on beside that, though, for Beastcoast here as they attempt to take a little bit more map control and start to set themselves up for success at some point in the next minute or 2.
Yeah, Beastcoast are chilling right now. It's a day on the beach for them as they begin their master clear. Anthony will dedicate himself towards his utility. The Gemini now trying to clear through. Has the potential to get rid of this laser gate, and I actually think he gets mute jammed out just before that. So unfortunately, that gate will still be able to stick around. Another EE1D out here for Slash. It'll be his second one here at 1 minute and 30 seconds. They haven't been able to capitalize off of any of this, though. I mean, yes, they've been able to gather some map control, but it was map control that Soniqs had already gifted over to them. So now going into the last couple of moments here, Beastcoast, long road ahead of them. Really need to get some of these picks and start looking for their potential plant spot.
Sweater is at the threshold here, ready to start pushing himself past the billiards play and in towards kids here. Nade's also starting to bleed into the back line of the Soniqs, but with very minimal success here. Only about 10 HP get knocked off of Grixer. Another EE1D charge going to come out from Slash. It'll be to limited success, though, as Grixer, I think, was just a tad there, gives out a slight amount of info, but nothing really that Beastcoast can play off of. So now they're going to run into problems. Oh, what a catch from Anthony. Yeti tries to leap out the small tower and gets caught. Drip will find a second pickup, but Rexon did trade onto Sweater. So Beastcoast only working with a +1 right now. It's going to grow from that, though, due to Anthony's position. He stopped the cutoff, and now he's cutting off every single member of the Soniqs. Super is the only one left here in a 1v3, and he can't fight it out. Surf gets the last kill, and it's another win for the members of Beastcoast.
What a great fight from them as well. I mean, a lot of that obviously hindering on the success of their double window player, but I mean, it goes off without a hitch. Able to get the big frags as well, especially with Drip still applying the case. So it's like he's stuck inside of that position. You have to have that cross covered, and they're able to get it to go off. So very well done for Beastcoast there. Currently up 3-0, and it's going to be attack timeout here for the Soniqs. Hopefully Goddess can hope to even out this mental.
We'll see what Goddess can potentially contribute here, see if she's been able to notice anything. You heard the analyst talking about it as well. It's very kind of strict duties between the 2 leaders of this team now, with Goddess being in charge of kind of the strat book and stats and whatnot, any potential insight that might be able to come to the table. But Super, he makes the final call. He decides the strategy side of things and the final decision on what's going to happen there. I believe that stayed true even with the transition, as we now take a look at Goddess giving out what she has to say here during the tack timeout.
Yeah, and for Soniqs, I mean, they're doing quite a few things right. Even inside of that last round, I think that they had a pretty good chance to delay that out. But the angles had already been adopted by Beastcoast, and at the moment, it really seems as though Soniqs aren't playing to win. They're playing to survive. They're all hid inside of attic as well as dorms. There's nobody out in more of a forward position that's forcing Beastcoast to take a fight with them. Instead, it's Beastcoast constantly just pitching utility at these defensive positions of Soniqs or forcing them into bad gunfights. And it's just so overwhelming for Soniqs as of right now, and that's why they're going to go back downstairs. I completely agree with this. I think that when it comes to Oregon overall, this is the best site for a situation like this, where the team is just constantly able to get into your face and set up those angles early.
Still, though, bleeding into your point a little bit more, I warned about this during the Dark Zero game as well. This is a map that, for the most part, kind of has been played out for a lot of the teams that sit inside of like that top 4, top 5, or at least were doing so during the 2021 season. So Soniqs had to be a little bit worried about this coming into it, as we are seeing the newer teams, the new rosters, try some slightly different things here, bringing at least a different tempo to the table on this map than you might kind of be used to from last year's teams, and that seems to be throwing quite a few of them off. It was certainly the case in our last matchup involving Dark Zero, and it seems to be the case now. The Soniqs just bringing that default play to the table on both their bottom floor as well as their second floor hold, and Beastcoast have no problem reading into it and piecing it apart round by round here as they continue to excel with a 3-0 lead.
Well, the continuation of our game starts now after Soniqs' timeout. We're back into play as Beastcoast comes out the gates. Going to be walking in with one hard breach here, no secondary hard breach across the board, but they will still have the Lion for Slash, so that could be pretty interesting going into this later on. Anthony's still going to have the Thatcher as well, so these hatches should be pretty straightforward.
Yeah, so once again, guys, just that little bit of a premature warning here. It's going to be pretty uneventful for the next minute and a half or so, as we're not going to see much from the Soniqs.
Have you ever enjoyed watching people drone? Welcome to Oregon, folks.
We need to set up some rally poles or something for the drones to run through.
We need like a mini game for everyone at home and the commentators.
Better, we just need some defensive teams to try their luck with a second floor run.
I mean, dude, we saw it with Astralis. we just haven't seen it from any other team, especially Soniqs. They do not want to risk any bodies on this mid floor.
Which is fair enough. Their opening trade has been pretty mixed here so far. So.
But John, they have Grixer. He's literally the highest rated player from SI. He's just putting his hands up in the air, guys.
Yeah, I don't know what you want me to say here, man.
You backed me into a corner, Stokes. Please stop. Stop it.
Unfortunately, not going to be able to take up that mantle so far in this game just yet. As
just poke Grixer with a stick. Just like, hey, do something. Come on. Yeah.
Soniqs have been falling from grace. They're not the only championship team from SI to do so. TSM has similarly been struggling a bit, although to a much lesser extent, obviously, inside of their first their first 4 playdays they already played today. Also here, Drip going to start to chuck in some of those flashes to see if he can shuffle a few of the members of the Soniqs around inside of the pillar room. It'll be to limited success. Also, of course, burning out any pieces of utility mitigation that sit down below. There's a pretty small number of that between both Rex and Yeti. Not going to have the full 3 operator combo for that inside of this round. And now push is going to come to shove here as we're getting a little low on time, so Beastcoast do have to start aggressing a bit. Oh man, these catches from Beastcoast every single time someone from Soniqs tries to make a move, it is read into, and that one as well. Surf with the sidearm headshot, and another one from Surf. He's going huge right now with the triple kill. Soniqs, what are you doing? It's down to Kansan and Super here. Kansan's been cut off in Freezer. Super as well has oh my goodness, he has no horse in this race, so the Soniqs will falter yet again inside of their basement hold, and once more, Beastcoast will continue to just run over their opponents here today.
How do we take attack timeout? And then this is how we fight back.
They're
not even attempting to try and fight any of these Beastcoast members. Surf is straight up walking at these people. Just down the tower stairs. That should not be allowed. It's against the law. Soniqs are even lost right now, John. They went to Cafe Kitchen.
I'm really regretting my prediction now.
You really should.
I thought this was going to be the game. I was like, there's no way Super just lays down to a loss from Drip. There's going to be so much overnight prep. They're gonna really put all the effort for this. But It's unfortunate, because on a more serious note, it's really just the same thing we've been seeing over the past few days.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, we came into this game I mean, it's a pretty funny statement, but it really was drip or drown for Beast Coast. I mean, like, it was like, is this the team we've been waiting for? This is Playday 4. We're coming into a game that there is a lot of warfare in between these two people, right? So there's a lot on the line. Each one of these players want to beat each other, and not only that, but they want to do it very, very badly. So, you look at the Soniqs camp right now, and there's just not very many positive things to say because you know how much this game means to the overall story of Super and Drip.
It's like, I mean, the early fights are not going their way no matter what they do. Yeti's just been slammed so many rounds in a row. It's so unfortunate because he's trying his heart out here, too. I thought he was for sure going to get the backstairs kill in the last round. Dude. Thought he should have had the small tower hop out, too. But, I mean, credit to Beastcoast. They're just catching every single one of these. We've got a bit of a play developing here, though. Sweater trying to push the envelope a little bit early in this round by inserting himself down through the classroom hallway. Won't lead to a whole lot, though, as it looks like both teams will just kind of back away from each other there after that EE1D goes off.
Well, some posturing back and forth between both teams, but it won't prove any results. And yet, as you were saying, it's just super unfortunate in the moment. But, hey, finally, we're going to have something work out for Soniqs as Super's practically gifted a slash hug as he gets blown away by that M590 on the entry to Dorm. Super's going to continue to be able to hold on to this. He's got a mute jammer for his attic wall, and he should be able to just stand in this exact location for some time. There's a lot of frag grenades, though, around the area, so he could potentially get naded out of this corner if he's droned out properly, and he will be. Might try and cross, but it was ill-advised. This Drip's already got the cut.
Second trade going to be found. Rexon with just a tiny little angle here from the top of White Stairs. Picks up the exchange onto Sweater. So the Soniqs will stay in control. For how long is going to be the question, though. Can they maintain this pace for another minute and a half, or will Beast Coast flood their way into the site yet again to take that full control? Mind you, again, there's been zero pressure on the small tower side this entire round, which is generally how Soniqs are set up to counter right now. But they can play that from the other side also here. Despite having the top-down control that Anthony's going to try and use now, it's still going to be tough for this team to battle their way into kitchen, where they're more than likely going to be forced to try and play their plan out. Here's the counter starting to show up to a really big degree as well. Kansan taking out Anthony as he tries to peer down through the hatch. Eliminated, probably with not a lot of intel to play off of from that death either. So Drip and Surf now have to make up the difference with potentially 2 kills needing to be found by each player. Drip moving in, already losing half of his HP as he tries to brute force his way in through the kitchen. Has to call it back even here. Thankfully, they still have a little bit of extra time, so they can absolutely do that. But really, only one more insertion attempt is going to be made here for the Soniqs. Shut it down and finally pick up their first round.
Beast Coast does have some time. They have an opportunity here, and although the rounds have looked like they were Soniqs multitude of times, they haven't been able to get one just yet. And, oh, John, not again. Surf with 2, and not only that, but he's gotten it down to Rexon and Yeti. Luckily enough, though, for all of our Soniqs fans at home, both of them have a great opportunity here. They have, well, collectively, the most amount of kills that the Soniqs can possibly muster at the current moment. Drip back and forth here. He has the case control. They have to do something. Where is this going? Rexon not going to be able to actually push himself towards the cross. A frag grenade out here. It's going to force a move. Drip's going to get stuck, and that's more than likely going to be the round. That botched frag grenade just doing too much to Beast Coast in the moment, and that's the unfortunate timing that clock can possibly put you in.
Valiant attempt from Beast Coast, but interesting enough for the Soniqs, it's the first floor hold that finally gives them their opening round here. That split pressure, especially from Super, like we said, he's kind of gifted that opening kill there. Sets up a bit of a trade spree for the members of the Soniqs to use to bring it down to a 4v2. And although Surf puts in a great effort to try and bring it back with his own double kill, it was just too much to ask for inside of the 2v4. And unfortunately, with the limited time they were working with, unable to clutch it out there. So finally, the Soniqs go onto the board. Can they bring it back fully here to a 2-4 scoreline? Or is Beast Coast just going to trade it out once again here on another basement attack to give them a massive advantage at halftime?
Such an interesting round because there's so many questions. How does Slash get picked so early without any info on the mute inside of dorms? I mean, how do you have all of these other kills go the way of Soniqs to the point where they're able to just play out a 4v2 inside of the cafe side? No pressure from Beast Coast on small tower side, but then Surf magically gets 2 kills and actually gives them an opportunity, and then a botch nade ends the round. It's really weird as of right now, at least for round 5. But fortunately enough for the Soniqs, that's one for them on the tally. So looking for their second one as they're headed back downstairs for the 4th time to see if they can finally get this right.
new small wrinkle being added into Beastcoast attacking strategy, but it's one that you guys at home should absolutely expect to see on a basement attack here for Oregon. The Ying has been repicked in for Slash, and they're going to more than likely try to go for the E-hash drop following the use of those Candelas. Yet he tries to set himself up for an aggressive peek early on again here, but quickly changes his tune when he sees the players getting a little bit too close and they haven't popped the barricade open. I'm pretty sure it's a good move from him to get out of there as well, because that pre-fire coming in through the barricade might have been directly on the position he was holding. Either way, though, gets out of there and avoids that damage and falls back into this default 5-player hold in the basement that we've been seeing from Soniqs throughout the rest of this half also.
Turtling constantly on their defensive setups when it comes to the basement. No real curveball being thrown the way of Beastcoast, so it's back to the traditional clear. Start breaking up this top floor here, try and make sure that no one can rotate up main, then start the work on the hatches, where we can finally start seeing how Beastcoast want to try and execute this time around. Previously, we've seen both of their executions come through the means of library, or rather laundry, and freezer, and honestly, both of them going off pretty well. Obviously, the second time around, it was a little harsher for them to get it to go, but I mean, still a fantastic round nevertheless for them as they're able to clutch things up. Now, as the hatches get open, we'll see if Soniqs want to try and fend off anything here inside of the next 30 seconds. See if they can possibly get some damage on an unsuspecting member of Beastcoast.
Beastcoast still need to work on droning things out on the interior of the basement floor. Drip's actually getting a good amount of that intel now, spotting out Rexon's position, playing closer to the construction doorway. So Sweater will probably be a little bit aware of that, and so will the rest of the team dropping in through the hatch. Slash as well, still on drone, so not ready to throw those Candelas in just yet, but we'll certainly need them. Look at this lineup of the members of the Soniqs, fending off this push entirely. Super's watching the construction play and continuing to hold it back with his Toxic Babes. 2 other members of the team, potentially 3 if Rexon can get involved as well, are going to be watching out for this drop as well as the back stairs play. This is a tough breach to be able to work their way past, but Beastcoast do have that incredible piece of utility from Slash and the Candelas, which could potentially make this work here. Drip as well, going to try and chuck in some of these nades to be able to work out the team a little bit better, dump the flashes in, open up the wayside here for the rest of the team to move forward, and more importantly, so those Candelas can work out. Rexon with the first counter, but he's immediately traded, yet he counter trades once again, though, to keep the Soniqs in control, and Grixer locks it in for the Soniqs. Sweater is going to pick up one more, so the Beastcoast roster is not out of this one just yet, but they have dropped the case, and they'll need to get that back. Crossing Grixer in the process of doing so, but no, he holds on to his position. Anthony will trade out in the pillar hallway, but now he's alone in a 1v2 and with only 18 seconds to clutch it out here. He's also lost the plot on one of the 2 remaining members of the Soniqs. He's going to have to go hunting for them here, and he really does not have the luxury of time to do so. You can see that blue blink. That's the camera from the opposing team spotting him out, and there's the bullet from Grixer to shut him down. As it's a 2-4 half with the Soniqs rebounding at the bitter end of it.
Both of the front executes going off without a hitch for Beastcoast, but when it comes to the back, they just cannot get it done. The Soniqs shut it up immediately on entry. Yeti able to shut things down around the E-box area, especially taking out Drip. It seemed like Drip had the possibility of being able to make a play there just for a split moment, but they just simply couldn't get things done with the Candelas. It really only affected one member of the Soniqs, and well, that just so happened to be a member that was rotating up tower stairs and not even looking at the actual E-box area. So past that, I mean, Soniqs able to win out time and time again when it comes to the gunfights. Beastcoast just not having a leg to stand on.
Beastcoast now on the defensive side. They're going to go right back into another basement hold, folks. So expect a lot more of the same. Operator lineup is going to differ, however, slightly here. We will keep the dual utility mitigation between Drip and Sweater from a Y and Jaeger combo, but the big change up here is going to be the fact that it's dual delay from Beastcoast as they bring both the smoke as well as the Tachanka to try to throw in those ranged bolts, try and burn out the floor and prevent any sort of laundry push or freezer as well here. We can see Anthony cut off both of those angles from range with relative ease. Then you still have Slash to fend off the construction play or potentially any play from the pillar side also.
Okay, well, Soniqs, what do you have in store for us? And trying to get your first win here, and I know all of you do not want that number 10 next to the Soniqs logo at the top of the screen. So it is all up to what happens in the moment, and, well, luckily enough, it seems like they've got a good grace in the Siege Gods. The Sweater will just give himself over to the Soniqs.
Sweater getting shut down, unfortunately, here as he tries to go for the aggressive play, and Soniqs read into that one, finding themselves in a much better position than they were at the beginning of quite a few of the last halves of rounds. Away from that, though, continue to see the Soniqs bide their time here. Not going to overpress the advantage just yet, only taking that first and second floor control and clearing it out here so they can prepare themselves to move downstairs after they, of course, do the bit of dirty work of opening up the hatches and getting all their players ready. So expect a bit of calm now that they've been able to find Sweater. As you can expect Beastcoast to, unfortunately, out of necessity, have to hold the remaining 4 players back into the depths of the basement.
I mean, the good news for Beastcoast is that although they've lost Sweater, they have the most amount of delay when it comes to utility. Not only do they have Surf here with the Banshees, but they also have utility to capitalize on this situation with Smoke and Tachanka. They'll be able to toss those at anybody that are trying to move through those Banshees and deal some extra damage to them as they're slowed. Kansas going to take a lot of cannon fodder as the Soniqs are opening up a couple of different areas in order to operate around as they'll get the freezer door open and start looking to deny pressure from the tower area.
We're going to see the Gemini work its way down. It'll reveal Surf's position. He's more than likely going to know there's a drone sitting here too, but oh, so close. Kansan, if he decided to pursue that, more than likely could have picked up the kill, but does have to be careful, of course. Further down the hallway, we can see there's more members of Beastcoast waiting in the wings, ready to shut down any push that ends up being slightly too aggressive here. Surf will be able to make it out, though. And Beastcoast, although they're injured, they're not out of this one just yet. So far, still delaying things from the Soniqs as we encroach on the final minute of play here. And the Soniqs only just now really getting ready to make that full descent. It's looking like Freezer is going to be where the emphasis is placed. We've got Kansan, Rexen, and probably Yeti pretty soon here trying to hop down.
Well, this is where things could get interesting, especially with the pickup from Drip onto Kansan down into the 4 versus 4, and Sonic still have to clear out a lot of this utility. Still have 2 drones to be able to gather some more information, as well as some frag grenades to try and reach into these hard-pressed spaces like what Drip has going on inside of Freezer right now. As of the moment, Soniqs have not stepped foot in towards site. Still some utility to pour in as a Kandala will fly into the freezer hall. Slash will pick up 1, though, onto Super, and that's going to be the case down inside of Laundry. Now Sonic, specifically Yeti, have to try and hop 2. Drip's going to get another one. Anthony will burn Yeti alive, and Beastcoast will take round 7.
Delay was beautiful from Beastcoast there. Like we talked about, they can just split those 2 operators up, and since the utility is on demand, they'll continue to delay the timing on when they were throwing those in, holding back the Laundry push first while the freezer push was going on, and then culling the players trying to work their way in from freezer, while they also had the drop delayed from Yeti by being able to put one of the incendiary charges underneath of that. Excellently played in the utility department from Beastcoast, and Soniqs unfortunately just get torn to shreds in their ability to trade off of each other because of that.
Yeah, you know, load time, having to clear out a lot of different positions, as well as having to deal with the players in those positions, it's just too much for the Soniqs in the moment. They don't have the information on where these players are. They have to try and commit completely blind, and it just doesn't work out. It's very well played from Beastcoast, especially with how that round started. Sweater just gets picked immediately, but the turtle ended up working out. I mean, Soniqs tried a lot of different ways to try and get a foot in the door, but none of it works. Even going all the way to the back tower to try and get rid of some info so they can possibly rotate back there later, it even gets caught by a Wamai disc, at least for the Gone 6's sake. So, I mean, they're trying, but it's just not really doing anything to the overall setup, what's actually going on site.
All right, so once again, pause has been unpaused, and we're going to head back in the game. Apologies for that short technical fix, folks. Just had to take a look at something real quick, but it looks like it already has been resolved. So we're heading back into the map once again to see if Beastcoast can complete their run. Only 2 more rounds is all they need to shut down this map. The Soniqs, unfortunately, need 5, so they've got a bit more work cut out for them here. We're going to see the interesting operator lineup come into play. The most notable change we'll see is going to be the Buck being played by Super to try to knock out some of these soft panels, both from on top and potentially at range if they want to take out some of the walls as well. We're not going to see it get repicked from the looks of things, but we will see if... Oh, never mind. We actually are going to see it changed up as he'll go over towards a Thermite instead. And we'll once again emphasize frag grenades to try and knock out more of this utility. They're not really going to bring much soft breach at all at the end of the day. Now they've moved away from the Buck, and there's going to be one more change as they move away from the Finka over towards an Osa for Rexen. So a lot changing up here in the lineup for the Soniqs as the Finka is re-brought back in for Grixer as well.
And man, this could make things so interesting going into this round, depending on what they do with the Osa here. We've seen her implemented mostly in the way of trying to get risky plants off. Put that Osa shield out in open water, plant directly behind it, and then just try and either play off of the shield or get out. That's what we've seen a lot of the time.
It's a pretty good gamble right now when you consider there's pretty minimal utility on the defensive side to counter. You've got the one impact from Surf and the Nitro from Drip, but that's pretty much it. Aside from that, they're just going to have to try and get into better positions to counter it out.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the big thing to notate for Beastcoast here is that there is a very high chance that one of the Soniqs members becomes a live barbecue, just because of the amount of slowing that we have. We have the Clash, we have the Banshees, and also with those new Vulcan canisters, those things are no slouches. They spread quickly, they deal a lot of damage, and they sustain for so very long.
So time continuing to tick down here, and the Sonics are taking their time about this, which should come as no surprise given the way the last round played out here, and just in general how the defensive side went for the Sonics too. They're playing a very careful game right now, and you can't really blame them given the very mixed results this team has had, not only in an early round, but just in terms of being able to close down rounds overall here. So the very tepid approach from them is absolutely understandable given the situation. But a stack of this caliber, you know, you've got pretty much all 5 players holding into the big tower position right now. They're going to play this all from this angle, and this is going to be a little bit rough as they try to push themselves in with pretty much every member of Beastcoast potentially waiting down the wings.
Yeah, absolutely. And the more that timer dwindles down, the scarier this situation gets. Beastcoast, opportunities here. Drip, he's already got the tape ripped. Nitro out, doesn't get anything.
Almost.
Super amount of damage onto Rexon, but it's not going to matter. It's actually Yeti to take down Slash. Surf is going to re-peek, but that doesn't matter either. Looks like we'll have some challenges in through the breach. Yep, I saw Drip standing right next to it, and when Drip's standing next to something going off that happens to be a breach, you know he's going to swing it. He gets the kill, and Beastcoast back on even footing, but not before Drip falls.
This is going to be a close one here with Rexon picking up that trade. Back into a 3v4 here. Beastcoast have a lot of close contenders, though, waiting to fend off this push. And Sweater as well, rotating all the way back to the back of the site here. He's got a bit of a ways to go here to try to help out his teammates. Keep in mind, of course, there's still, and you just saw it hot ping there, there's that single Volcan canister sitting on the wall here that they can implode as they try to go for the execute, and that's going to delay for another 20 seconds. Look at the timer. There's only 40 seconds left, and oh no! Anthony nearly self-immolates himself, but he's able to back out of it just in the nick of time. Saves his own life here, but now he's so low. They're going to need that support to come in here from Sweater, and they're going to need it soon. 30 seconds left. That Volcan canister should be expiring in about 10 seconds or so, and that'll open up the floodgates for the Sonics to begin their push, especially with Anthony being as low as he is. 20 seconds to go, and here we go, folks. That Volcan is gone now. Just waiting on the Sonics to begin their pressure. They need to commit to this one, though, and they don't seem to have the courage to do it just yet. Smokes are going in instead, but that's opened up the floodgates now for Sweater to pick up an exchange. That's the case down. Both of the remaining members of the Sonics are on the cross as well, and Sweater's just picking them off one by one by one. Less than a second to go. Yeti tries to come in on the clutch for the backside, but it's too slow. It's another round for Beastcoast.
Yeti, Sonics, what? The timing is just so off. Yeti's all the way over in kitchen. He can't do anything.
That was a great play if you made it 30 seconds prior.
Thank you. That's exactly the point of the conversation. Why are you doing this at 2 seconds left? Go and fight them, please. The Sonics give up yet another round that looks like it's theirs, and it's back to the same thing. Beastcoast are making plays, and they're working out swimmingly. They're looking so very good right now, and not only that, but you have some very aggressive moments where Beastcoast are able to catch Sonics off guard. A perfect thing to notate, Drip playing the breach. Nobody expected anybody to be playing stage inside of that situation. He gets a free kill, pushes Sonics back onto their back foot. Yes, they're able to pick him up, but that just sets tempo for the rest of the round. Beastcoast, they limit Sonics' entry. There's no longer a moment where they can actually get in cleanly, and it's just so very unfortunate for them. And, well, speaking of unfortunate things, John.
Yeah, we've got this poll result. It looks like by a factor of 2%, Drip is our greatest villain in the league here. So it's very close. We've got a very close-knit storyline between those two players.
Doesn't own a cat, isn't bald, doesn't use his pinky when he drinks.
Has both eyes.
Yeah, like, I mean, no weird scars, and he's got a nose piercing. Ah, you're lying. That's cap. Stop the cap. I mean, at least inside of this matchup, I think you guys have it right. The 6-2 scoreline tells so much of this story, especially with Drip being at 8-5.
Yeah, really great game from him. And once again, Surf as well, also continuing to show his dominance here.
What a monster of a
player.
player.
And it's been like nearly every single game that Beastcoast has played. This man has been the highlight by a huge factor. One of the first 4 games we've seen out of just him alone. Not even, counting the rest of this roster here for Beastcoast.
It seems like he just has a button on his desk that he hits, and then 2 people die on the other team. That's what it seems like to me. I mean, time and time again, when his number's called up, he's able to just make these magical moments, and that's what I've loved so far about Surf's play. But we'll have to see if that continues on here. He's 10-5 at the moment, a 2.0 KD. Very clean, at least going in here. Well, we'll have to see if he can possibly gather some more kills. The Sonics are on their clear. They're going to run into a Mozzie pest around the kitchen area, though, so this delay already working out extremely well for PC.
Slash rotating in. Bit of an awkward exchange with his teammate there, but all good as Beastcoast continue to maintain this first floor pressure and waste the time of the Sonics as they want that bottom floor white stairs control to be able to use this to get themselves into the site, on top of more than likely putting pressure in from the big window and maybe even the rappel out towards the main dorms, but not going to be able to find it just yet here. So half the round gone. Still plenty of time, of course, for the Sonics to make up the difference here. They're trying to do so, at least in part, through utility. You see that nade exploding quite close to Slash, but dealing minimal impact at the end of the day here. He'll continue to maintain his position inside of security, and Rexon will have to waste another drone here, sneaking it by, as they're also more than likely, actually might not have seen him. Sweater still sits at the bottom of the staircase too. Nice Toxic Babe timing. Sneaks off about 20 HP from Yeti, as you can see Sonic still trying to put pressure on the site, while also needing to clear out this extended game downstairs.
They have to clear out this entire extended game. They have to know where all these people are. Sweater's got to kill into Rexon, and they only have 3 drones. I don't see how this goes well, but luckily Grixer's worked his way in behind the back line. He'll take out the kitchen player of Drip, but on minimal time now in order to actually get this execution to go off, which is upstairs.
Yep, yeah, that was what I was just going to say here. It's only the extended game they're dealing with right now here, so great. They find a kill for free here, walk right in, even out the numbers, but now you've only got 45 seconds to change up your entire execute to get to the top floor. Grixer's still hunting down the remaining roamers that went into the basement as well. This is going to be messy from the Sonics, as they'll have to put a whole lot of flank watch commitments downstairs here. They don't really know where to put those commitments at due to the multiple options the players on the basement have to rotate back upstairs. The only benefit working into their favor is how weak the internal site defense is, and it's just gotten even worse with Grixer's next kill. Great pickup from Surf, though, on the Nitro. He knocks out Yeti, so we're not done yet, as it's still even in a 3v3. Sweater ready to fend off the pressure from White Stairs also. He's got this pixel angle from the other side of the main dorms. Grixer, oh no! He's going to take down his teammate as Surf and Sweater shut it down for Beastcoast, and they take the map. Such an unfortunate way for it to end, man, but Beastcoast shutting it down round after round again, play after play. It was Beastcoast all day here today as they excel once again with a victory that's certainly going to make them happy as they take down probably one of their greatest rivals in the league here in the Sonics.
If there was a cherry on top to what is happening to the Sonics right now as a team, the ending of that round is exactly that cherry. Grixer kills his teammate and immediately gets blown apart by an M590. An impossible round at that point for anybody on the Sonics. And I mean, honestly, it just seemed like Beastcoast were insurmountable. There was not a single thing across the entirety of this game that the Sonics did that seemed like it really affected them.
The Sonics like slowly piecing things together towards the very bitter end, those last 2 rounds of their defensive half, but all of it goes by the wayside as soon as we switch halves and they're thrown onto the attack. It seems like, unfortunately, none of that stuck, or at least was not translatable to the attacking side, and they continue to show so many issues here as Beastcoast excelled once again in the early round gunfights where they would pick up the advantage for themselves, trading things out and falling back to the site, and even in those final site fights, it would always go into them. I believe we have a birthday as well.
Yeah, we do. It's actually Anthony Metal Gear Solid's birthday today, and he's going to be, I believe, 21. Is that what you said, production?
Yeah, 21 is what I heard as well.
Oh, 21, Andrew, live in Vegas. Anthony, my boy. Well, Anthony, listen here, my friend. You go have a great night. You got a huge dub today, and by the way, you guys played great, so I hope you guys have a good time tonight for your 21st, man. You're in the perfect spot to, be 21. So, by the way, make sure you tell everyone in Vegas that you're 21. Oh my God, you're going to get so many free drinks. You have no idea. It's going to be a great night, man.
All right, well, big congratulations to Anthony. Big congratulations to Beastcoast overall, who played a phenomenal game once again here today. And for the Sonics, it's unfortunately going to be a big effort for them as they continue once again to fail out. We're going to take a short break, ladies and gentlemen, and when we do come back, we'll have the analysis desk ready as well as an interview with our winners.
Let's hit the dance floor. Don't work too hard, might break a backbone. Return of the Mac, the king is back though. Corvette and cash, I never lack those. She saw the stone, you know how that go. Fatality, my diamonds that cold. Versace trunks, I hit my backstroke. Knock on the door, she at the back row. All I really take is a little taste. Island girl, blue eyes with a little bass. Here for the thrill, I don't need a chaser. Wanna vibe at the getaway. Shimmy, shimmy, yeah, I got the semi-four weight. Don't step out the line like this a probate. You hit the line and try to locate. This for the time, got time for no day. One, too many, I'm going. Too crazy and I got bad ones and they ready. A good time, so now it's into it, we left at. Can't remember anything, but I know we got lit. Good times. Live in the moment, feel like summertime. Obsessed with nature, not a world mine. The room is spinning, but I feel fine. Oh my. Chandelier, limousines. Really think I'm seeing things. Read the line in between. Yellow light, I gotta speed up. Get home to a cold shower. Need that pronto. Look like a rave at the condo. Heck of a night in Toronto. She said, boy, you in Morocco. Pearl white mention in the top gold. Fill up my cup with the pop, whoa. High off life in the spot, though. Running out the visa, really talking to a real life Mona Lisa. Jesus pieces hanging off the fleecer. So much going on, it's hard to focus on the features. I got too many, I'm going. Too crazy, and I got bad ones.
And we are back here at the NAL. Doa, Jesse, and Jacob here with you. And, well, here we are again. The Soniqs losing pretty convincingly to their opponents. It was rough. And on the other side, it was none other than Beastcoast giving them the L. And Drip, obviously, playing a big part of it. He's standing by in Vegas, ready to chat with us a little bit. Drip, it seemed like everyone was just kind of having a ton of fun today. It seemed like everyone was just enjoying themselves. It was a bit of a TDM a little bit of deathmatch going on. Like, how'd it go?
I mean, it was fun. Winning's fun, especially when the other team just can't shoot back. They've been struggling all stage, and this was the game we wanted to put them down like dogs. I mean, I love everybody on that team. They're some of my good friends, but I mean, y'all gotta pick it up. That was a little too easy. That was almost as easy as Parabellum. Not quite as easy, almost as easy. But I mean, we had some fun today.
Okay, having a good time. I can feel it. Listen. You guys went back to Oregon after yesterday. You had a really rough game against Oxygen. So what made you guys try to come back here? Did you feel like it was just that Soniqs are not as strong of opponents as OXG, or did you feel you had a lot of things you could improve on?
I'm not making excuses. We trolled yesterday. We trolled hard. We knew Oregon was our map. We should have been up 3-0 to start on attack. We couldn't recover from the Vert 1v4, which we gifted him, so you're welcome for that. But, I mean, we knew today that we're not bad on that map. The score was 7-2, but it didn't feel like a 7-2. I mean, the Soniqs got 7-0'd yesterday. I'm kind of sad we didn't 7-0 them. We kind of gave them some courtesy rounds. But, I mean, yeah, we're always ready for Oregon, or Boregon as it's known.
So obviously, Soniqs are having some struggles, but as the latest team to take them down, give me your professional opinion. What's the thing they need to fix the most? How do you correct course if you're the Soniqs?
This is like, I don't often praise my opponents, but one thing I will say from them last year is they were always very energetic. You saw Grixer always dancing and Yeti screaming, and you didn't hear much of that from them today, and you have not heard that from them much of this stage, and that has been known from many people that have played against them. They're just not, there's something off about them right now, but I think their fix is easy because we all know, like again, if I'm praising the opponents, they're obviously good, but we all know they're good. They're capable of doing well. They just need to, I think they need to bring that energy, because I mean, they're an energetic team. We need to see that from them, because I like screaming at people, and they weren't screaming back today.
It's a little bit of a bummer, isn't it? Well, so speaking of energy, I gotta know, when things are kind of going crazy in the comms and all that kind of stuff, who's the person on Beastcoast to sort of rein it in? Who's the one that say focus up?
Kind of all of us. I don't think we have very crazy comms. It's very flat throughout the round, and then we get a little more toned up when it's ready to execute. But I would say probably the only one that's pretty loud is Surf, but he just gets a little too hyped, as you saw, yesterday in that 1v4 where he, how, as you can imagine what his calls were. He's like, well, I don't think he said I want the kill, but you could hear it in his tone. It's like we had to reel that in today. But, I mean, yeah, we're actually a pretty calm team on stage. After the round, we go kind of bananas, but, I mean, during the round, it's pretty flat.
That's good. Keep it calm inside the round. Keep it crazy outside the round. It's fun to see, fun to watch. Congratulations on your win today. Good luck with the practice the rest of the week, and thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.
All right. Well, there you have it, Drip. And honestly, probably one of the most measured interviews I think we've ever had with Drip. You know, he's dropping a little bit of shade, here and there, but some compliments for Soniqs. And I think the thing is the thing that's kind of puzzling for people is we know what the talent level is on Soniqs as far as these players go on an individual level. We saw it last year, right? And so I think everybody is a little bit taken aback the way things are going now. I mean, obviously Drip happy with the win, but like he said, he was used to Soniqs shouting back at him. It felt like it just wasn't there in a competitive sense that even they wanted.
He had a point, I think. Everyone kind of understands that there's something in the water with this team.
Yeah.
Made it seem like everyone collectively knows not only is there something very off that feels like it's never really been there for this whole stage, but it almost kind of feels like he's concerned for them, the understanding that this isn't their expectation, this isn't what this roster is capable of doing, and he really, really, like you mentioned, those are some of his best friends. He and Super will go back and forth. They might queue up for FPL tonight, but something doesn't work out for the Soniqs right now, and everyone can see what even if they don't know exactly what the problem is.
Yeah, well, an easier way to see it even than that is to check out the stats from that one. And, again, I feel like we've had a lot of these today. It was kind of a blink and you miss it sort of 7-2 here. Soniqs just not able to really get anything going once again.
Yeah.
Surf, man.
Surf is ridiculous. I mean, obviously he had that one big play running down into Laundry. He's been their entry, and he continues to be so good in that area. 1 and 2, a little bit lackluster from what we've seen him in the past, but still felt like he was doing a really great job there. When you talk about the Soniqs and their issues, again, you're kind of seeing some of these bigger fraggers not really putting up those great numbers. It's better today, I'll say, than it has been in the past. Rexon 6 and 8 is a pretty big improvement from what we've seen in the past. Yeti, I thought, actually had a great game. 3 opening kills, and those all came pretty early on in the map. So I had a bit of hope for Soniqs to start things out here, but it just wasn't enough. There was never that big firepower, that big push. And when you're only getting 1 or 2 rounds a map, it can be really hard to get that fire started, to get that energy going, and to start yelling at Drip across the stage.
Yeah.
I think that's what Soniqs want because they need to get the energy going, and I think that's what the fans want, right?
Yeah.
All we want to see is some screaming, but Soniqs aren't delivering that, and I think the big reason why is because they aren't able to convert any rounds, so there's not really anything to scream about.
Bro, half the reason Drip gave such a measured interview was because he knew that there wasn't much energy to feed off of on the other side. You want to take that, eat it, and then convert it into something worthwhile for your side. And for the Soniqs, even if it's just after when they won on round 5, we're like, okay, this team is not getting swept. Congratulations, they actually won a round this week. They still didn't do anything. They were still stoic and stone-faced. That was right after they took their timeout. I mean, it was a round after they took their timeout, but there was still no change. There's nothing on that team that radiates the same Yeti level of flex energy that propelled them in stage 1 and got them that initial top 3 finish. There's just nothing here. It's not a matter of this team is not going to compete at the same level of quality. This team just sunk.
It's rough to see, but what's kind of fun to see is some of the replays we've got coming up, because, man, we've got sort of a montage of sorts, and there were some pretty entertaining plays. We knew we were coming into something that was going to be pretty fun, but yeah, here you go.
I had so much fun with this. Slash goes up the stairs, and I'm screaming, what are you doing, Slash? You are throwing the game. Why are you going to Freezer? This is never going to work.
Death from above.
Oh, he's so good. He's so good. I switched up immediately because this was such a nice play by Slash. The timer at 0 at this point, kills don't matter. So this was the first big play that we saw from Beastcoast that was really, really impressive. This next one is just Surf dominating on his entry, dominating on Sledge. He's been playing all year long. 2 big kills that he rushes down tower for the third. Nobody's looking at him. There. I know. And he's able to convert this execute all by himself. The rest of his team has done nothing so far except for get into position. So it's been really fun to see. Anthony grabs one, they come around. And then I also wanted to include this round number 1. It's the Drip Rexon 1v1. And listen, sometimes Siege gets goofy. Sometimes things happen, okay? But Drip pulls through anyways. So we'll include that one in there.
Yeah,
just as a fun.
You're used to looking down the scope, and I mean, even if they're 30 inches away from you, you're still gonna do it anyway. Yeah, you got to get it close.
Even on something like that with a 2.5x on it, it's just like You don't think he's meant to win that in that corner. It almost looked like he was zoomed so far and he would miss Rexon, but no.
And it makes sense that he's like sprinting there too, just on a serious note, because like you expect Rexon with like 5 seconds left to be retreating at that point in the 1v1 so that you can win on time, but Rexon would for some reason trying to like get into the gunfight and go more forward. I think he was trying to hide in the corner so that maybe he would run right past him and have a good angle. It's hard to say, but still, I think Drip did the right thing, just kind of got a little panicked.
Attacks seem whack, defenses seem whack, positioning seems whack, timing seems whack, strats seem whack. I don't know what's going on. This Soniqs team just worries me. Like
maximum whack.
Maximum whack. Sure.
That's
I mean, to use what we were talking about for him from before, but like, after these 2 weeks, you'd think it would be a lot easier to kind of discern what the sole issue is for the Soniqs. I don't know what the first step on this road to recovery needs to be for them. Don't even think about the major. Literally, don't have that on your radar. Like, expect to just try to use these last 5 games to rebuild, because we're almost halfway through the stage, ladies and gentlemen. I don't get what's going on, and they need to identify this at the source and fix it fast.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's look forward to our next series, our final map of the day. It's going to be Oxygen taking on Mirage. And we'll see what happens. Oxygen top of the standings, but Mirage getting a little bit spicy.